1010 XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you in the new drug. Today's a new place. We are here at Dua Restaurant and Lounge. What a wonderful setup here. Right here on Bay Meadows Road, just a hair west of Phillips Highway, right near Phillips Highway. Very easy to find. Beautiful place. What an outdoor patio they've got here. They've got a great setup. Terrific Mediterranean food here. Man, you would love it here. We'll tell you all about it. They open at 4 now, so they're just now opening up. But they've got happy hour specials here, and what a fun place. It's a good vibe to this place, too. So come on by and see us here at Dua on Bay Meadows Road. Frangie and Carline back in town.
We've got gift cards to give away. Come see us.
$25 in good food, man. So $25 gift certificates. We're going to tell you how we're giving those away in just a bit, but we hope you'll come on by and hang out here on the patio with us. We got umbrellas. You have umbrellas and a patio. It's a good day.
It's a gorgeous day out, too.
It really is beautiful. So come
this
by and say hello.
patios, I love the trees they have.
And we love being in new places. So come on by and say hello to us at Dua. We'd love to have you do that. Just got off the plane.
Yes.
Here's what I figured out, and I did the math on this. 12 trillion people travel per 5 minutes.
That's right.
Isn't it? We connected through Charlotte. It's amazing, and I don't know why. We fly all the time, but you get spoiled when you fly with the Jaguars. You don't see all that, you know. It's amazing how crowded that airport was today.
Yeah. There's 15 million people traveling, and there's 4 air traffic control operators.
What did you see today? You read something that we're down on. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying it now that we've landed.
Right.
Okay, good. I feel better with that.
It was Elon Musk tweeted out that, like, if you're a retired air traffic controller, consider coming back because you're needed. The numbers aren't where they need to be. So, I figured I'd tell you that before we got on the plane.
Thank you for that.
So, for extra fun.
All right, but we are back. It was a great trip to the Combine.
We made it.
I want to thank all the folks that came on with us. Obviously, Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, first and foremost. Bucky yesterday. Pete Prisco. Tony Boselli was on with us. Matt Taylor from the Colts. Mark Vandermeer from the Texans. And Mia's still there, by the way. Mia's going to check in with us in about 10 minutes. She's going to be live from Indianapolis from the Combine, just kind of wrapping up our coverage. And again, tip of the cap to Mia. She did a wonderful job of really editing, and in addition to her reporting duties and hosting duties, editing so much of the video that you see on our social channels and our digital channels. So we hope you will check that out. But it was a wonderful trip to the Combine. Good to be back.
Absolutely. Gorgeous weather.
It's kind of funny.
Really, it's unbelievable.
Hayes and I got in the Uber this morning at roughly a little before 6, and the real feel was 35. Right now we're in Jacksonville, Florida, here on the First Coast, and it is about 75.
Yeah, I'm in jeans.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome. It is awesome. It's great to be back, and this will be the last time that I wear jeans, hopefully for at least a week or so. The sunshine is on us, and it's a beautiful vibe here.
Yeah. It bummed me out that we lost Norman Dale.
I know.
It really bums me out that we lost Norman Dale.
A great life.
A
great run.
Yeah, for people that don't know, the great Gene Hackman, we found out today, died at the age of 95, both he and his wife. And there'll be and more stories will come out about what happened. We don't know that. We know, and they don't suspect foul play, which is good. We'll learn more and more about that. But Gene Hackman was phenomenal, just phenomenal. You know, I mean, so many wonderful movies. By the way, we were talking about our favorite Gene Hackman movies. I listed mine. I forgot because he wasn't the lead actor. The Firm.
Sure.
He was fantastic in The Firm.
Oh, he was always such. He could be anything, but he was such a good villain.
Yeah.
I mean, Gene Hackman did Dastardly. About as well as anybody. Yeah. But he also could be the hero. I mean, he could be the coach in Hoosiers.
Yeah.
And he could be funny. I mean, his cameo in Young Frankenstein is one of the best cameos ever in comedies.
He's probably he did so much. It's hard to even say most known for, but his anthem, if he was a rock actor, is probably French Connection.
Yes,
I would say that's the one that brought him into being.
Mm-hmm. Won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, I would say that, but there's only one favorite for me, and that's Hoosiers.
Sure.
I mean that's who my list is. No Way Out, which I think is the most underrated movie ever. People don't realize what a phenomenal movie that was. But Hoosiers, I mean, I will now watch Hoosiers at some point in the next few days. I just, from start to finish, I will watch it. It'll be the 7,000th time I've seen it. I mean, I will, but I will watch Hoosiers start to finish. I just will.
Yeah.
Sometime in the next. It's basketball season anyway, you know.
Right.
So I will watch Hoosiers sometime. But the great Gene Hackman dead at the age of 95. That made me sad. You know.
Absolutely.
And you said right. He was 95. He lived a great life. It was a great life. You know, he was very close friends. I know you know this. Very, very close friends with Jack Del Rio.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very. They became very close. I don't even know the whole connection. I don't know if it stemmed from when Del Rio played at USC and it was a Los Angeles thing. But I mean, later in life, there's a picture going around on social media today. I don't know if you saw it or not. But when Luke Del Rio was playing at Florida, there's Luke going into practice. We know where the practice fields were, and Luke walking into practice with his Gator stuff on. And there's Jack Del Rio and Gene Hackman with him. I don't know if it's going around today.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the picture or not. So, but yeah, very close to Jack Del Rio. So very sad to see it. All right, all kind of stuff to get to on the program today. We'll certainly talk about Gator basketball. We haven't really gotten to that because we've been at the Combine the whole time. I want to weigh in on that and the significance now of the Saturday night game with game day there in Texas A&M there after they lose to Georgia the other night. The Gators did. They've
lost 3 straight now, the Aggies.
Yeah, I watched that last night. I watched the end of it. We were out last night at one of the haunts in Indianapolis with a lot of the NFL folks. But you and I weren't out together last night. I was with some different folks than you were. But I got in time to watch the end of the Vanderbilt A&M game. So, yeah, they're leaking oil. So we'll talk about that. Mia does check in. We'll talk some Combine coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll check with her at about 4:20 or so. JU and UNF. Good for JU. They finished strong. They now have a home game on Monday night in the ASUN tournament. UNF on the road. They've got to win. UNF to stay alive. They got to do what JU did last year. JU had to go on the road and win Sunday and Monday night back to back, and they did. Then they won again and almost won the conference tournament. UNF's got to try and do what JU tried to do last year. So we'll certainly talk about some of that coming up today on the program. We got some other NFL stuff, NFL news kind of trickling out. Who's going to warm up? Who's going to work out and who's not. So got a lot of stuff to do on a Thursday. We're glad you're with us. Always a Stanley Pools Thursday. Our friend Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, will be in studio tomorrow. Since we were just getting off the plane and coming right to the remote, we told Lee, let's do tomorrow. We have some time to kind of look. The Players are around the corner, man. So we want to have some time to really kind of get into that and where the world of golf is and how close we are to the Players. So
did you see Billy Horschel shooing the
Gator
that
great?
Off the fairway?
Yeah, he did it
it's
the
not
right
a
way.
Small Gator either.
He kind of shoot it and then he walked with it to make sure it left. So I did see that. So we'll talk golf, but that's tomorrow at 4:20, not today. Tomorrow at 4:20, we'll talk golf. With our friend Lee Smith. Let me start with saying this. My friend Tony Boselli, and I lose sight sometimes because I mean, we're really good friends. We talk all the time. So Tony's the guy that I'm always in contact with. Had him on the air in an interview, and Dan and Jeff do such a wonderful job with Tony. He probably can't do it right now because he's got a job, but he's been so good on the drill for so long and so many years. But he came on with us yesterday. Hayes, my phone has blown up like you can't imagine about the Boselli interview. Nothing I did. I just asked the questions, but it's about his passion, about how locked in he is, about how passionate and prepared and ready he is to try and to finally build the Jaguars into a winner, a consistent winner. I've done a lot of interviews in these 37 years of radio, all right? I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've had that much response to an interviewee. The irony being it's someone that we hear all the time and talk to all the time and I'm around all the time. But his passion, I went back and listened to it again. You know, I told you this on the air yesterday. We did the interview live on Helmets and Heels, and I appreciated Lauren and Taylor and Mia letting us jump in and do that. And so when you're doing an interview, the interviewee's answering the question, you're preparing the next question, and he's answering the question. So you don't really sit back and listen to it because you're doing the next thing, and that's part of executing an interview. If you've ever done a broadcast interview, broadcasters will tell you want to be engaged, but you have to be ready for the next question because when the answer ends, you don't want dead air. There has to be a rhythm to the interview. So I went back and listened to it when we replayed it on our show, and was able to enjoy it. How he was awesome. He was unbelievable. So I'm still buzzing a little bit. I think people around here are still stirred about how excited Tony is about this role and how believing they are that he can be successful in it.
Well, what came across in that interview so well is that Tony has a killer instinct. I think Liam Cohen, has a killer instinct, and I think that's what Tony identified pretty quickly in their interview. And when you go back through the last 10 years, I don't know that a killer instinct has really existed here. And I'll give you examples. Gus Bradley came in, and I think Gus was so – I don't want to put stress on the players. It's about our process. The wins and losses, that doesn't really matter because it's about kind of how we are and how we're growing. And so I don't know that there was a great killer instinct in how Gus was trying to build his program. I think he wanted everybody to be on the same page and wanted that harmony. You then go to Doug Marrone. Well, there obviously was no killer instinct. They had the Patriots dead in the water in Foxborough and sat on a lead in the AFC title game that,
played a little tight.
A lot, crazy tight.
Yeah, I agree.
And so there was no killer instinct there. Who knows if Urban Meyer even had it? He was so incompetent with the Jaguars that you couldn't even get to that point. And I don't know that Doug Peterson had it. Certainly not in the last year and a half. It's hard to say I have a killer instinct when you lose 18 of your final 23 games. So I think that's what's so exciting is Boselli has it. He had it as a player. He has it now as an executive. And the process of going to get Eric Ciano really illustrated that. And I think Liam Cohen has it for all the reasons that we've laid out over the last month of how Liam Cohen got the job and the things that he did to get the job. I think shows he's got a killer instinct. So that's what I think is so exciting is the Jaguars now are a go-for-the-throat organization, and I don't think they've really been that over the last decade.
Yeah, and I will say this. Very well said, Hayes. I agree with everything you said. And to underscore that, I will tell you, I told this story on the air yesterday. I'll tell it again today. We do the interview on Helmets and Heels, and then I send it back to Lauren, and they do the segment, go to break, and we're in Indianapolis. So Tony and I get up and walk off, and we're catching up on other stuff. He was so worked up. He looked at me. This wasn't grandstanding. Not that he's a grandstander anyway, but there was nobody else there, just he and me. And he said, "I'm telling you." I'm glad you asked me that. I'm glad you asked me about that, the Ciano thing, because he didn't know I was going to ask him about it. I didn't prepare it. He said, because we're not going to be a doormat anymore. I said, I'm telling you, that day's over. And I saw the look in his face, and it's probably the look that Jason Taylor and all the rest of them saw when he tried to get around him. He had that look on it. We're not doing that anymore. We're not going to be a doormat anymore. We are not. We're gonna fight, and we're going to win these battles. And I'm just telling you, and that's a guy because he lived it, man. He played here. He lives here. He loves the franchise. This is the only job he wanted in football. And so, it's cool. Let me say it again. If you haven't heard the interview, go to our YouTube channel and watch it and watch it too, because you can see the look on his face when he did it. Go to our YouTube channel and listen to it. You'll be glad you did. And good. Thanks to Big Bo for coming on. And I'm still buzzing about it a little bit. And yeah, I was on. A friend of mine called me right before we came on the air, and we were talking about some other stuff. And he said, by the way, he didn't hear it. His son heard it. Said buzzing about the Boselli interview. So we appreciate all of them coming on and a lot of Combine talk. We're going to keep it on the Combine, take a break. Do want to remind you, we're live at Dua Restaurant and Lounge. We'd love to have you come on by and say hello. Right here on Bay Meadows Road, just a hair west of Phillips Highway. Easy to find. Stop by. We'd love to see you. All kind of food. Let's do this. First person that comes by right now that heard me say this, $25 gift certificate. First person that stops by right now that heard me say this, $25 gift. Come on over here.
Look at this guy.
You've already been here, so you get one because you earned this because you're already here. Okay.
Well done.
So in addition to you, the next person also gets one. Someone that's hearing me on the radio now. Congratulations, you just got $25. So the next person, the person that comes off the street and hears it right now, you get a $25 gift certificate to do it. We'd love to have you come on by and join the folks that just got one, by the way. We'd love to have you come on by and do that. When we come back, we're going to go back to Indianapolis. We're going to check in with Mia O'Brien. Mia's still there doing her good work. We'll check in with her after this and kind of wrap up our trip to the Combine. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I did not see this one coming.
Radio play-by-play is like stepping in a theater in your mind.
As good as it gets.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Prize, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course,
oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Danielle Paul, senior basketball player and track and field athlete at Mandarin High. Danielle is a member of the Student Athlete Leadership Team and the National Honor Society. Congratulations, Danielle.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Plumbing problem, septic emergency, HVAC system not doing its job? Don't panic. Call the pros at Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. From leaks, clogged drains to septic installations and air conditioning repairs, we've got the tools and expertise to get it done right. Dial 904-862-6769 now and let our friendly team handle the dirty work so you don't have to. Remember, when you're stuck, call the Duck.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Don't miss the Players Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Upgrade your home with the winning combination of style and performance from Renewal by Andersen. Energy efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. For a limited time, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. This offer expires February 28th. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash, and they're ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. And gold market prices are at a record high. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Ackerman Urology is now servicing the World Golf Village area. If you have elevated PSA, prostate, bladder, or kidney issues, plan to see the experts at Ackerman Urology right away. Their new location off I-95 at International Golf Parkway.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
How far? 10 feet. 10 feet. I think you'll find it's exact same measurements as our gym back in Hickory. Okay, let's get dressed for practice. It is big.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
First of all, love that scene. What a great scene, by the way. When they got to the big gym and they measured it. No question about that. Also, is that the Bee Gees playing?
Wow.
Are you at the Bee Gees?
That's right.
Are you at the Bee Gees? Jimmy and I went to high school together. Hey, are you okay? But he's older than me. Let me point that out, okay? So he knows I promise you, he knows the Bee Gees. Because we went, right? If I know it, the old guys like Jimmy got to know it too. So there's certainly that. What's your name, sir? Evan. So Evan and Jimmy both came by and got a gift certificate for $25. See, that's what happens when you're a listener. You ought to be a listener. So we glad you guys would come by. Speaking of the Bee Gees, JJ, what do we want to give away? Give away something. I'm in a good mood. What do you got?
Good. I got a pair of tickets to see one night of the Bee Gees at Jacksonville Center for Performing Arts on March the 6th. So
How about that?
Call it 641-1010.
Go hear the Bee Gees. All those sounds of the Bee Gees. No question about that.
I wish I was alive when. I mean, I was alive, but I wish I was like 18.
I don't know that you were cool enough for it.
I wasn't, but maybe I could have at least closed the gap.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't cool for my generation either, so it's not like that matters.
Yeah, the Bee Gees, it was the coolest. I mean, that whole Saturday Night Live thing was the coolest thing. I'm joking, it was the coolest thing ever. So, all right, let's talk a little Combine.
Come on. Now, Combine Commentary with Hayes Carlyle. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'll tell you, a lot of the athletes aren't going to work out in Indianapolis, and for some of them, that's totally their prerogative. But for some of them, I think they're making a big mistake. I think Shedeur Sanders is making a big mistake not to throw because there's questions about his arm strength. And the one today that I thought was a big mistake is Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan. I mean, he needs to be out there performing. There's already knocks on him for kind of opting out of the season, not really giving it his all. And I think for a guy that already has significant question marks on his resume, to not go out there and work out, I think is a big mistake. He's going to leave it up to his pro day. But I always say, I mean, when you do that, you're putting an awful lot on your pro day. What if you have a bad day that day? It's always good when you have the combine and the pro day because that way you've got two chances to really impress the clubs. So I think some mistakes being made at the combine this week.
We'll certainly talk about that. That's Hayes' commentary from the combine. It makes an awful lot of sense. Let's head to Indianapolis, straight out of the University of Ithaca. Can I call it that?
Yeah,
absolutely. Can I call it the University of Ithaca? I never call it right, say the right things. But our friend Mia O'Brien, who's been busting her butt all week, joins us. How you doing up there? You all right?
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad you guys waited a minute and you got through Hayes' commentary because I was walking outside and the wind has significantly picked up since your departure from here, and I was a little worried you wouldn't even be able to hear me and I wouldn't be able to hear you.
How cold is it? What's the weather like right now?
Oh, it's 50s. Just the wind is like crazy right now. So that's when we appreciate the fact that there is a tunnel system here in the great city of Indianapolis.
Were you hoping a blizzard had hit?
Yes, I was hoping, now, since we're sitting here in 75-degree weather, I was hoping she'd say it's about 12. That's what I was rooting for. Mia, this is the first day we weren't there. Workout started today. Anything jump off the page for you now that the players are off and running?
The biggest thing for me, I'm not going to lie, guys, has been just kind of catching up some last minute because I'm going to be headed out here in the next hour or so. So I haven't had a chance to really watch the workouts yet. Certainly, we did get a chance to speak with defensive backs and tight ends this morning. And in those stations, obviously, some revealing comments. Although, again, it's early in this pre-draft process, and I know that we want to nitpick every single thing. We posted the video of the back and forth, and since Hayes just mentioned him with Will Johnson, this idea of the Jaguars are not doing any sort of availability with him this week. I am not suggesting that takes him off their board by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously played as well as anybody in the country a year and a half ago. And so, therefore, that's not to say that the Jags haven't done plenty of intel on him already. It might just deem him as, hey, he's good to go. But it's that time of year, folks. It's the silly season. It is interesting knowing that, again, I asked the question of Will Johnson where I said, what do you make of this national speculation that you had an injury-riddled senior year, or final season, I should say, at the University of Michigan, and maybe that doesn't translate to the league quite at the same level as it possibly did previously. And he's the one who brought up the Q word, the quit word, of how people think I quit on my team. People on my team know that I did not quit. He was then asked by another reporter about Kevin Wilkins, now the assistant linebackers coach for your Jacksonville Jaguars, who was with him at Michigan, and kind of deflected a little bit on that answer, but obviously Wilkins didn't work with him directly, and so I wouldn't read too much into it. But that was perhaps the biggest interesting nugget on a personal note here on day 3. It all blends together here in Indianapolis.
Mia, what were your impressions of Travis Hunter today at the podium?
Yeah, I will tell you that it was the largest scrum I've ever seen in 2 years coming to this event, Hayes. I've never seen that many reporters to one podium, and then when you couple that with the fact that Will Johnson was 2 podiums down, I feel bad for the other 7-8 individuals who were holding media availability at that time. Everyone wanted to hear Travis Hunter. Certainly, and I can tell you this from a couple of the conversations I've had today, you're going to have to, if you draft Travis Hunter, you are going to have to come up with a plan in terms of how you manage his workload. Ultimately, sustainably, it's not going to work for him to play all 3 phases of the game just because the body will break down after a 17-game season plus potential postseason year after year. Well, yes, we believe he is this athletic specimen, one of one, and I think a lot of teams, and it's really been indicated to me today, a lot of teams do believe that. At the same time, you have to be, if you are drafting him in the first round in the top 5, top 10 picks, he has to be a building block for you, and so therefore you have to treat him as such.
Mia, what did you think of, speaking of guys at the podium, we didn't have you on yesterday. What did you think of Mason Graham? He was there yesterday for people that missed it. What were your impressions of listening to him or after listening?
Well, Frank, you noted that I went to the University of Ithaca, forgetting that I also went to Iowa College for my master's degree. And I think Mason Graham did as well, if I'm being completely honest. At just 21 years old, I think he already has his master's from the University of Iowa. He doesn't know that yet. But the way that he goes about his business, his, lunch pail and his hard hat, that is who he is. When I asked him the question I go, what is the biggest green flag that you think teams have appreciated about you? And he goes, I think I only have green flags. I don't believe I have any red flags. I have no drama. I go to football. I go home. That's it. And I think that that's the type of guy, if you're the Jaguars, much like Jim Harbaugh's Chargers a year ago with Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, that's the type of guy that you want because you need someone who maybe isn't this electric highlight, so to speak, but they once again are a true building block and a piece that you can set, forget. If you're Liam Cohen, you're a first-time head coach. If you're James Gladstone, you're a first-time GM. The last thing you want to be doing is having to worry whether or not your first-round pick is living up to expectations and is actually doing his job.
Mia, you had a funny video from Kobe Bryant, the Kansas defensive back. Tell us a little bit about that exchange.
Yeah, he's a feisty one. He honestly, and I said it on Helmets and Heels, he reminds me a lot of Darian Jones in terms of his personality. He was very open that if not for Lance Leipold and the Kansas staff, he would not be the person he is today. He said he's gone through a lot of media training. He's also really come out of his shell since the time he first arrived in Lawrence, Kansas. He noted to one reporter when asked if he had met with the Texans, he said, yeah, the meeting went great. They said they want some dogs, and I am a dog. which was then followed by, I'm also good friends with Kamari Lassiter. Of course, the irony is that Kamari Lassiter is a Georgia Bulldog. And so I think then once he said the word dog, I think a lot of people were like, all right, let's run with this. And he let it be known. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can play whatever scheme you want. And he's going to bring a tenacity that I think is not only gregarious and engaging and exciting as a fan to hear him at the podium, but I think it speaks on his playing tape as well, which I really haven't dove too much into. But I've seen some highlights here and there, and I know there were Jaguar fans on Twitter that were excited to send me some more of those highlights and see if we could get a little snippet from him.
Final thing, man, you got to get to the airport. You're on your way back here. What was your impression of the way people received the Jaguar brass? Hayes and I have talked about this, and I think they were really positively received. I know I'm a glass half full guy anyway, but I thought they were really positively received. There was question about the age. And I don't even think that was a negative, but that was the one question. What was your reaction to the way people reacted to Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Boselli?
I'm glad you asked, because that has been, as the girls asked me on Helmets and Heels, and everybody back home has been asking me, the biggest feedback I've gotten across the board in terms of what prospects to watch out for, what pending free agents should you be keeping an eye on for Jacksonville. What everyone wanted to talk to me about was questions, praise, criticism regarding that new trifecta. I will tell you this. I had, actually, it'll be airing on Helmets and Heels tomorrow. Our good friend Jordan Rodriguez from The Athletic joined us and will be joining us tomorrow. That's the pre-recorded spot we did later in the day. And Jordan said that the feedback she's gotten around the league is that Tony Boselli has been genuinely curious, and teams have appreciated it, that he has not been afraid to ask questions. I think there may have been a preconceived notion for some that Tony would come in and say, okay, this is the way we're going to do it. And I think that's unfair because, quite frankly, I think it's lumping him into, coincidentally enough, his former head coach, Tom Coughlin, who maybe came in and was a bit more brash. She said that the reception she's heard from other teams is that they've been genuinely impressed with not only Tony's openness to hear other ideas, but that he wants to learn more, even with the understanding he already has of the league. So that's on the Tony front. I would be lying if I didn't tell you that as recently as 3 hours ago, I'm sitting on Radio Row, and I have people coming up to me, and they say, wow, your GM is so young in Jacksonville. And I say, yeah, I know. He was sitting right here next to Frank, and I had about 5 people come up to me and tap me and say, is that him? Yes, that's him. Yes, I know. He looks like he's 21, but he's 34, and he's the right man for the job. And that's what I've heard across the board as well, especially for this coach-centric situation and scenario and world that Shad Khan is trying to build for both Liam Cohen and for James Gladstone's part. I also, Jordan really went in depth with this, and so this will be available on our YouTube channel as well as, again, on Helmets and Heels tomorrow. Jordan heard about a lot of the questions that were asked, not just of those two individuals, but of all of the individuals through this process. And the questions that were asked, and again, I don't know if it was Tony Boselli, Tony Khan, Shad Khan who was asking the questions, but the questions that were asked were much more geared towards the future of the league. It was much more about the analytical side of things. It was much more about, hey, what happens when the CBA expires? What's your plan for contracts here? Those questions not just asked of the general manager, but of the head coaching candidates as well, a more overall picture of what the modern athlete is. And I think that that's a real progressive approach that, quite frankly, we haven't seen in Jacksonville, and it's a breath of fresh air for us here locally. And I think nationally, I think people are still holding a little bit of cynicism, and that's okay because, this is where, if you're Liam Cohen, if you're James Gladstone, this is where you got to prove those haters wrong.
Yeah, really good takes on all that. And Mia, one more time, let me say it while you're here. Thank you for all your work there. Mia did a lot of the work that nobody saw. We saw it. You just didn't see her doing it. All the editing and making the digital and the video pieces work, as well as hosting our show and giving us great takes like that. So we appreciate it. Nice work. Get on that plane. We'll see you when you get back here. Thanks, Mia. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you.
Okay. All right, Mia O'Brien checking in, and she did great work the entire time we were there.
Absolutely.
Great take on Tony, by the way. I will tell you, I'm not surprised. Tony, and again, we talk a lot offline. I can tell you when he went into this job, even when he was hoping he was going to get the job, maybe before he had it, his position was never, I'm going to step in there with all the answers. I'm going to step in there with passion, with care, knowing a lot about the league and knowing the sport and hopefully knowing a little bit about leadership. But I'm going to learn. I think he went in there expecting to learn and wanting to learn. So I'm not surprised. That's an interesting take that Mia heard from other people, and I'm glad. And by the way, as far as James Gladstone being so young, I thought about this too. Remember when he's a young guy, he's 34. Here's the other thing. He looks young. First of all, he's thin. He's got all his hair. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. There's some 34-year-old guys that look old.
Right.
He looks young.
He does.
Yeah. But I think people will find out sooner rather than later that, like he said, age is just a number. That probably doesn't matter a whole lot. Mia, we appreciate you checking in. We'll talk some more NFL. We're going to get to some basketball in the second hour of the program. But I want to go through some of the guys who are working out, some of them aren't. Let's you and I wrap up some final thoughts we had, everything we saw there, a little bit about the combine, a little bit about the vibe, a little bit about the nature of that week in Indianapolis. One more segment, combine-centric, then we'll get to some other stuff. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Happy New Year from everyone at Nimnick Buick GMC. And as we begin 2025, Nimnick is excited to offer even more choices and better prices for you, ensuring your car buying experience is second to none. If you're wondering where to go for a better buying experience, it's simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Here's to another year of driving forward together. Looking for a better used car shopping experience? Well, you'll find it at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Now with Car Bravo at Nimnick, you'll get transparent pricing, the best value on your trade, and peace of mind. Now is the best time to shop certified used vehicles and buy with confidence. And man, you get all the makes and models: Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. That's right, all makes, all models. Trading in your old vehicle? Don't forget who gives you top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and my knee was getting worse, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Yo, E.T. here, and are you looking for some good food, outdoors fun, and plenty to do? My old stomping grounds in Clay County is the place to be. Check out Clay's diverse local restaurants. They have barbecue, seafood, and Latin restaurants that hit the spot. Paddle alongside the scenic waterways, cast a line, or hit the trail. In the events, there's always something to do for you and the fam. Check out exploreclay.com to plan your next adventure. And when you do, make sure you hashtag ExploreClay on social.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
The Jacksonville Icemen are back at home this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against the Savannah Ghost Pirates and Greenville Swamp Rabbits at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena for Military Appreciation Weekend. Presented by CSX and the Nimnick family of dealerships. Join as we honor our military with special jerseys and pregame festivities. Friday and Saturday's game time 7, Sunday at 3. You and your family can take a shot on goal on the ice after the game. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksIceman.com, or call 602-PUCK. Iceman Hockey is #Frozen Frenzy.
Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists congratulating our Scholar Athlete of the Week, Amelia Tucker, senior varsity track and field and soccer player at Wilson High. Amelia is involved with student government and is a member of the National Honor Society. Congratulations, Amelia.
If someone you love needs a pick-me-up, then it's time to get serious about it and send them a Kuhn floral arrangement. Dylan Denmark here with 1010XL. You'll be assured of a quality delivery, that's for sure. Log on and order online at kuhnflowers.com.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then, strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about the fence,
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and you got really cool things going on right now because there's new product coming in the showroom. Tell everybody about the Aprilia Demo Days.
March 11th and 12th, it's a Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to have the Aprilia Demo Truck. We caught them on the way back from Daytona Bike Week. They're going to be there. Come ready to ride.
Tell everybody real quick about Aprilia.
They are a bad Italian motorcycle. Nobody's ever ridden an Italian anything and said that wasn't fun.
Check it out. Cycles of Jacksonville, all the details on their Facebook page.
The First Coast Games is an annual team building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
Staying Alive, one night of the Bee Gees, a tribute like you've never seen before. Experience the songs and sights of a full Bee Gees playlist performed live. March 6th at Jack Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Where are you going? In the game. Sit down. What do you mean? You gotta have 5 out there. Sit down. Sit. Coach, need one more. My team's on the floor.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
My list of favorite lines from that movie, my team's on the floor, might be top 5. My team's on the floor.
Yeah.
You don't do it the way you do it. Sit your ass down. If we play with 4, we'll play with 4. It's
a fantastic movie.
Norman Dale, Gene Hackman, dead at the age of 95. You probably know that story now, so you're going to hear an awful lot of Hoosiers cuts on this program today. It's my favorite movie. I used to say it's my favorite sports movie. It's my favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah, my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie.
Wow, how about that?
It is my favorite movie. Yeah, so it is my favorite movie.
Have you shared this with Wild Thing Vaughn yet?
Yeah. You know, no, I know, and I need to because Major League's great, but Hoosiers my favorite movie.
Nice.
Hoosiers my favorite movie.
It's a great movie,
and I love Major League. But Hoosiers my favorite movie. So there's that. All right. We'll get to some basketball. Speaking of hoops, coming up in about 15, 20 minutes or so. But again, want to remind you, we're here at Dua Restaurant Lounge. Come on by here, man. It is a fantastic. Just walked around the inside. It is gorgeous in there, man. They got the big screen over the fireplace and the couches all around it. What a great place to watch sports and great food here. So we really do hope you'll come on by. We're on Bay Meadows Road, to Hare West of Phillips Highway. Come on by and say hello. We would love to see you here. Again, next person comes by, we're going to give away another $25 gift certificate, too. And we want you to come in here and use that thing because it's a fantastic place. So come on by and see us.
And again, if you're looking for a landmark, in God We Trust, there's a big sign on Bay Meadows Road, and that's where Dua is.
Yeah, exactly.
So look for the big sign that says, in God We Trust.
Yeah.
That's where you need to be.
We're right underneath it. We literally are right underneath it. So come on by. We would really love to have you do so. Come on by and see us here at Dua here on Bay Meadows Road. Frangie and Carline with you, JJ LaSelva, back at World Headquarters. All right, a handful of things. I think the Combine looks like it's gotten bigger than it's ever been. We talked about this on the air when Tony, I sat in with Jaguars Today yesterday, as I know you did as well during the week. And I remember Tony, I want to say it was Ballou, Tony Smith and I came. I know Tony was here. And it was when Gus was coaching. And I can still remember, I think Ballou was here. I know Tony was here. And I can still remember they were out in the hall. We weren't even in that big room, just kind of in the hall outside of that room. And there were six tables. Six people doing live radio there. So in 2015, I'm not talking about 1985. I'm talking about 2015, which was 9 years ago. There were 6 tables out there. There were 64. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
There were.
Well,
64.
Think about all the clubs. Not all 32 went, but
the
probably
teams
20 did.
Yeah, the teams had their own operations, a lot of radio stations, a lot of television stations, a lot of national operations. You go around the corner, and then there's the NBC and the CBS,
right,
and the Pro Football Talk, which is the NBC, and so many of those too. So it's bigger than it's been. I wonder if it's lost a little of its importance in terms of the workouts. Because everybody has a pro day now. I think it's very important for the interviews, but I wonder if it's as important as it once was. The Rams are one of the teams that never go. Some of the teams, Mike Tomlin's never there. There's do you get that read a little bit that it's almost become more of a media fan television event than it is a necessary stop for the NFL teams, unlike was the case in the past. Agree or disagree?
Oh, I agree. And again, I think it's still a place where you can make a lot of money if you're a second, third, fourth round kind of guy. But if you're one of these top 5 picks, yeah, I just think at this point you're probably not going to risk a whole lot with it. Now, the guys that are just outside of that, if you're Shedeur Sanders and you're fighting with Cam Ward to be the first quarterback off the board, you should be doing everything. That's a mistake. If you're Will Johnson and there's issues about a really rough final year at Michigan, you need to be out there. If again, this is a player that probably could go close to top 5, but also could fall to 17.
Right.
Well, that's millions and millions of dollars, and so there's a few of these athletes that I think can get away. Like Mason Graham is only going to do the bench. I think that's fine. I don't think Mason Graham needs to do a whole lot. Abdul Carter has the foot issue, but even if he didn't, if Abdul Carter didn't want to work out at the combine, he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, and at worst, he's going to be the 3rd pick in the draft. So he's probably taking on more risk than reward by getting out there and doing anything. But for most of these players, they should be doing everything, and it's still a good. While the headlines today are the players, the real elite players in this draft that are electing not to do anything. It's still such a golden opportunity. We talk about it every year. Most drafts, once you get outside the top 10, there really isn't a big difference between 11 and 45. There just isn't. So if you're one of those players that can make this a positive week for you, not just in the team interviews, not just with your medical, but with how you perform on the field, I think it can make a difference. We've seen it. We've seen guys. Frankly, sometimes these guys get overdrafted. Sandy really likes what I say.
Yeah,
about
Sandy's a beautiful dog, by the way. Charles brought Sandy in here.
11 months old, glorious dog. So I think in looking at it, it's something that, again, if you're at the top of the class, that's fine. But boy, there's a chance to make a lot of money this week in Indianapolis. Sometimes even at the team's peril, because they put too much stock in what they do at the combine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with everything you said. But I sense it's not trending because a lot of people are going to work out here. But it just seems like everybody works out at their pro day, and everybody has a pro day. And if you're at a really small school that doesn't have a pro day, if you play football at Mercer, you go to the Georgia Pro Day. So everybody goes to a pro day. And I just wonder if it's more.
And you have your local pro day. So if we'll take Mercer for an example, the Falcons have a local pro day. So if you went to Georgia Tech, you didn't get a combine invite, you go there. The Jaguars, they'll host Florida State.
Players who are from here.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that. But what I do think is it's amazing the convention nature of the combine. You'll be even more than the owners' meetings, more than the Super Bowl, because assistant coaches are there, staff members, equipment guys are there, trainers are there. Man, they're all at this thing. In college basketball, the Final Four is the convention. If you ever go, have you been to a Final Four?
I have not.
Okay, if you go to I've been to a bunch of Final Fours. If you go to a Final Four and you're walking around San Antonio, where we'll be this year, and Indianapolis and Atlanta and the downtowns, whatever, you've never seen more warm-up suits than you see in your life, because basketball coaches wear sweats. That's all they wear. That's a federal law, by the way. Basketball coach has to walk around in his matching sweats, his matching warm-up suit, and his tennis shoes. So you've never seen so many warm-up suits as you've seen at a basketball Final Four, because that's where the convention goes on. Well, this is, I think, the convention. I saw more.
Oh, without a doubt.
We're no matter where you go, we're walking around, and Grant Udinsky, the offensive coordinator, just walked right on by us over by our hotel. And their coaches there's a bunch of others. They're assistant coaches on other teams, therefore we don't recognize them. So, it's a very cool convention. Nature, it's become that for the beat reporters now. They all go to Prime 47. I was there last night, and they're all filtering through there, man. And it's funny too how the celebrities, even the national media people. I was there. I was sitting at the bar last night at Prime 47. We had some of the Jaguar broadcast folks, and we were having a dinner there. And I'm sitting there at the bar and talking to a dude that he just pulled up to the bar. He and Mike McDaniel were roommates at Yale. So that's why he was there. He's hanging out with Mike, and they had some of their buddies were just there to hang out. He lives in California now. As I'm talking to him, Rich Eisen walks in. You would have thought Elvis walked in the building. Now I don't think if Rich Eisen is vacationing in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, people are going to recognize him, but it's not going to be like Elvis walked in the building. But in this thing last night, where everybody's either NFL or NFL-centric, Rich Eisen walks in there, and there's a swarm. That's kind of the point. It is the NFL convention of all conventions. That, to me, is what the Combine is, even more than a place for players to work out.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's it's where if you're a coach looking for employment, a front office executive looking for employment, you go to the Combine. Yeah. Because you want to network and do all that. But again, the essence of the Combine is the medical. That was what was so interesting about Abdul Carter, and then finding some kind of foot fracture. His representation, Drew Rosenhaus, says it doesn't require surgery. Worst case, if it did, it would be about an 8-week thing. So the medical that's the heart of the Combine, is the medical. The testing kind of came after that. But certainly, it's important for anybody in the NFL. It's like you said, from prospects to coaches to front office to media. It is certainly where everybody goes, and I still think that you're going to see 94% of these prospects work out over this course. We saw, obviously, the first group today, the defensive linemen, linebackers today. Defensive backs will be tomorrow. I can't, wait to see what some of those guys look like. But the best thing about this week is you can be a guy that's in the third, fourth round, and with a great athletic performance, you can really rise up the board or certainly start the process. And then if you have a good pro day, I mean, it all kind of, there's a domino effect in the draft process. But if you can get off to a great start at the Combine, it really puts you on a great path. And that's why when guys skip it and don't work out, when they're not solidified as a surefire top 5 pick, I think they're making a mistake, because what if you have a bad pro day? And that can happen. I mean, and if you have the bad pro day, then you don't have that Combine as sort of your buffer, your mulligan. It's like, taking a drive on, the 18th hole, and you have 2 available.
Right.
But you say, no, I'm going to forego the mulligan.
Right.
This one's going to count. This is the only drive I'm going to hit. Well, I mean, if you're Scotty Scheffler, you can probably get away with that.
Right.
But if you're, me,
Joe Hack
you should
guy,
probably, take the mulligan.
You're exactly right. Well, so that's a good analogy, too. You have a second chance to really impress. We'll take a break. When we come back, we do want to tell you we appreciate you checking in and listening to all our Combine coverage. We enjoy doing it all week long. But we haven't talked about virtually anything else. Let's get to some college basketball and more. That's next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's the season of sandals and sundresses.
And the Players' Championship.
Listen for 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Leaderboard updates. Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Magnified.
And Kingfish Pest Control.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
This is Daytona, the awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross, and the most challenging course to witness the air-catching, adrenaline-pumping, heart-pounding action unlike any other race in Florida. Daytona Supercross. The biggest names battle it out under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 1st. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, buddy, you look worried.
Worried? I'm apoplectic!
You're what now?
I'm freaking out, Jason. Stupid water heater crapped out, so I haven't showered since Thursday. I start smelling a little funky, blow my big corporate job interview tomorrow, I'll end up settling for some dead-end career selling spatulas on the internet.
Dude, stay cool.
There's nothing cool about a cold shower, Jason. I mean, I know how that sounds, but...
Bueller Air and Plumbing can get a new water heater installed today. The day you call. You could be smelling fresh again by dinner time.
Wait, you can do that?
Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Is that cooler?
Oh, yeah.
Well, life moves pretty fast. If you spend much more time smelling like this, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
To catch more fish, you gotta think like a fish. Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show, reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services, and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
The restaurant of the day is the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Get free hummus with purchase of 2 entrees all Thursday long, off 210 and St. John's Parkway. Order online at thegreatgreekgrill.com/St. John's. thegreatgreekgrill.com/St. John's.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys Locksmith Service.
Tired of seeing the signs of aging in the mirror, fine lines, sun damage, redness? They don't have to be part of your future. I'm Dr. Mark Capsule, a board-certified dermatologist, and I can help you look and feel your best without invasive surgery or painful treatments. Imagine rejuvenating your skin in a relaxing, comfortable environment with minimal to no downtime. Smooth out fine lines, even skin tone, and restore that youthful glow. Find out how to look and feel your best at dermagnify.com. dermagnify.com.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
I'm Max Fink, here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update presented by Riddle Wellness. Last night was a midweek thriller on the diamond as Florida narrowly escaped UNF 7-6. The Ospreys were down 6-3 with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the top of the 9th before Seth Alford hit a 3-run double to tie it up. In the bottom of the 9th, the Gators had bases loaded when Florida capitalized, scoring on a walk-off wild pitch to improve to 9-0. Gators manager Kevin O'Sullivan had some short thoughts on last night's nail-biter win after the game.
I think overall it was a good game. I mean, it didn't go quite the way we wanted to there in the 9th, but it's all right. It's all right. It's a learning experience for everybody.
The Gators start their 3-game series with the Miami Hurricanes in Gainesville tomorrow night at 6:30. It's 76 degrees at 5:01 time and 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right, listen up. Here's what we're going to do. Jimmy, they're going to be expecting you to take the last shot. We're going to use you as a decoy. Buddy, you get the ball, give it to Merle on the picket fence. He's going to take the last shot. All right, let's go. What's the matter with you guys? What's the matter with you?
I'll make it.
All right. Buddy, get the ball to Jimmy, top the key. Buster, just spread the floor. Let's go.
We come on this loop, John B.
It's a Stanley Pools Thursday on The Frangie Show. Since 1988, the experts in pools, pavers, screen enclosures, it's Stanley Pools.
First of all, when Jimmy said I'll make it and that music started, come on. Tell me that.
Great stuff.
Come on. All right, that's all I'm saying. Now, right after that, one of the great moments in Hoosiers. You're making this up, JJ. You already gave away a Bee Gees thing. You're not giving away Beach Boy tickets.
It's a crazy day. Yeah, I have nothing but tickets to give away.
Sloop John B., the greatest Beach Boys song among 50 great Beach Boys songs.
Which
great
I've actually
song.
never heard this one before. So I'm glad you're introducing me to one.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal song. Are the real Beach Boys, like the Beach Boys coming?
I think there's a couple of the real members.
It's the real Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Mike Love's coming. It's the Beach Boys.
Exactly.
Okay? So what are we doing? What are you giving away?
I got a pair of tickets to see the Beach Boys live at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. I absolutely love that place. And that is on March 8th.
All right. Call right now. What call? You want to call our number? What do you want?
Let's go caller number 5 right now. 641-1010.
Caller 5 at 641-1010. You're going to go hear Sloop John B. and all those great Beach Boys songs. They're playing forever, okay? Steve Carline right now is going to play. He's trying to call right now.
He is trying to call. I hope he wins. And I hope he takes me.
There you go.
But yeah, you can't be in a bad mood.
No.
Listen to the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys are the greatest. They're one of the great bands of the 60s and beyond. So the Beach Boys coming to town, and that is a really cool thing. 2 tickets just went to the Beach Boys. ESPN has a very good story. It lists every team playing, all 300-plus teams playing Division I basketball, Division I basketball, and it lists the 8 teams that could win it all, which is usually most years about what exists. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 9, but it
feels like this is a year where that's going to hold.
Yeah, there's 8 teams that can win it all. The 8 teams he lists in no order: Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, St. John's, Iowa State, Houston, and Duke. Yeah, I think that's probably right. I can find very little to quibble with, and I don't pretend to watch every week, every game, but that's probably the list. And of that list, 4 of the 8 are from the Southeastern Conference.
That's the incredible part. I mean, we've been talking about it for months, but it's just such an unbelievable storyline because it's just never been a basketball league at all. And to think that now it's not only the strongest conference in America, but it's having a historical run. Is one of the best conference seasons that we've ever seen. It's it's remarkable. There will be teams in the SEC. Look at Georgia. What's Georgia now? 4-5-10 in that league, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
on the bubble.
like 36th in the country in the net.
Right.
Why is that? Well, because they were so good at a conference.
Yeah.
And they got some big wins. They beat St. John's at a conference. So I mean, it's just been a remarkable year. But Duke could certainly win it. Houston could certainly win it. But it feels to me like it's a top-heavy sport this year. I don't think you're going to see a 3-4 seed cut the nets down. I think it's going to be a 1 or a 2. Frankly, I think there's probably really 6 teams. It seems like there's a gap between the top 6 and then 7.
Yeah.
But I'd be shocked if this is one of those years where you see like an 8 seed make a run or something like that.
So the Florida Gators lost to Georgia. They got down 26 points in the first half. Got it to 16 at the break, but couldn't come all the way back. Actually did come all the way back, took the lead, but then Georgia hit a big 3. A couple thoughts about that game. Florida fans are angry about the moving screen. You're never going to get that called at the end of the game. And there's moving screens throughout the course of the game. Was it a moving screen? Yes. It's not called.
And haven't you accepted by this point that the officiating just isn't particularly good in college basketball?
And
I mean, you just have to live with that. It's just how it is.
But you're never getting that call at the end of the game. Just like you're rarely going to get the pick play on the goal line at the end of the game. You're just rarely going to get that.
They
call.
did. I mean, they missed a travel on that possession where it was right before he got to midcourt. We were watching it. We were surprised that it wasn't called because the guy jumped and then came back down with the ball.
But Florida also got away with an over and back. This should have been called. So, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. Here's what I think. Will it cost Florida ultimately a number 1 seed? Possibly. But I believe this. A&M's lost 3 games in a row, so they will feel desperate the way Georgia did. But I'm very convinced. I say very. You're never very because there's good basketball teams. Anything can happen. But I would guess that Florida's going to win Saturday night. Game day's there. And one thing about this team, they play with that chip on their shoulder, but they've got to remember it's there. Against where they have been at their worst, is road games against teams that are not highly regarded. Now I'll throw in a home game. They were not ready to play against Missouri because early in the year people didn't know Missouri was good. If that was now, they'd feel different. I'm not saying they'd win, but they'd be different. But the worst I've seen them play, in my opinion, the worst I've seen them play on the road at South Carolina, should have lost the game.
Right.
Somehow won the game. The first half on the road against LSU, played miserably. And the other night against Georgia for 2/3 of that game didn't play very well. All 3 of those games, where they have in common. On the road against a team you didn't think was very good. That's their Achilles heel. On the road against a team that you didn't think was very good in all 3 of those games. Now, they went on the road to Auburn, who they knew was good, and nobody gave them a chance to win, and they won the game. Only team that's beaten Auburn in that setting all year long. So they're going to come home. There's a chip on their shoulder. They will be fired up because game day's there. The rowdies will go crazy. My guess is if they follow, by the way, they're 24-4, so that means they're usually pretty good. If the pattern holds, I would expect them to be very, very good Saturday night against Texas A&M.
I would too, just because of the math involved in it. The other night against Georgia, only one Florida player played well, and they've got 8 guys that can hurt you, and only one of them played well, and that was Will Richard, who's probably the 5th or 6th guy in line when you talk about Florida stars. He played fantastic. Walter Clayton, he scored 18 points, but when you looked at how many shots he took for the game, that wasn't overly impressive, and he had 5 turnovers. Thomas Houck was dreadful shooting the ball and didn't have the kind of presence on the glass that he normally has. Condon in his first game back was 1 of 7 from the floor. Elijah Martin was 2 of 7 from the floor. No one really did anything. Aberdeen gave them nothing off the bench, which is unusual. So you've got a really deep team, and we've talked about it. Like, okay, maybe like if 2 or 3 guys don't play very well, Florida could still be in good shape because that means 4 or 5 guys did play well. Well, it didn't happen the other night. They literally were 1 for 8. Logden was decent on the glass, so it's hard for me to say he didn't play well for what you're expecting. but Will Richard was far and away their best player. And it was just one of those nights. Now, you hope that doesn't happen in the NCAA tournament because they'll get beat and they'll be out. But in terms of sleepwalking on the road, they don't have to worry about that anymore because they've only got one road game left, and it's against one of the best teams in the country in Alabama, and Florida will be supremely fired up for that game. And then everything else is a neutral environment other than your home finale and obviously Saturday's home game against A&M. So the good news is, because I agree with you, for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to reach them in terms of keep your focus and your intensity when you're a heavy favorite on the road. But that's over because you're either at home or you've got a massive road game where obviously you're going to be fired up to play a top 5 team in their house. And then you've got, conference tournament and NCAA. So I think they'll respond really well, most because I think at least 6 of them didn't play well at all the other night. And again, Clayton, Houck, Condon now in his second game back, conditioning a little bit better. Elijah Martin, those guys are going to play well. Aberdeen is going to give them a lift. So I think Texas A&M, I think it'll be a good game. Texas A&M's a talented team, but I think Florida wins.
Yeah, Texas, and now they match up well with Florida because they're physical inside, and that's one of Florida's advantages. They're a very good one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, but we'll see how they match up. Meanwhile, in the ASUN, so the seeds are set. It'll be very interesting to see. North Florida is going to have to win Sunday and again on Monday. They will play, they are the 8th seed. They will play the 9th seed, who is Austin Peay. North Florida versus Austin Peay, 7 o'clock on Sunday night. And they're playing at North Alabama. Because if they win, then they've got to turn around the next night and beat North Alabama. JU did exactly that last year. They won a Sunday, came back and won the Monday. So UNF, a 7 o'clock against Austin Peay on Sunday night. If they win that, they turn around 7 o'clock on Monday night and have to beat the number 2 seed in the entire tournament. That's North Florida. I still say when UNF starts making those threes, they can beat anybody. But they've not been a great rebounding defensive team. Teams with good inside players have given them trouble. So it's a tough challenge for them, but we'll see. UNF on Sunday at 7 as the 8th seed in the ASUN tournament. They played the number, I keep saying 9th seed. They played the number 7 seed. So it's 7 Austin Peay versus 8 North Florida. The winner plays North Alabama, and all these games are at North Alabama. JU, meanwhile, got a home game. JU will play at home as the 4th seed of that game, and they will play against Eastern Kentucky, who they've played well against. So JU is at home against Eastern Kentucky in that game. If they win, then that's on Monday night at 7 o'clock. If they win that game, they probably play Lipscomb. Here's the deal. The 9th seed is Stetson. The 10th is Central Arkansas. They play at Lipscomb in Nashville. The winner of that game plays Lipscomb. So it's Lipscomb versus the Stetson Central Arkansas winner, and JU versus Eastern Kentucky, and the winners play. So JU would have to beat Eastern Kentucky here in Jacksonville. Then, based on who wins, if Lipscomb gets upset, they play in Jacksonville again. That game would be on Thursday. If not, then they'll have to go to Lipscomb, go to Nashville to play on Thursday, and then the final is on Sunday on ESPN2. So it's interesting. UNF's got to shoot it well because they've got a tough challenge here. JU has been in the championship game under Jordan Mincy 2 of the last 3 years. 3 years ago, they played Bellarmine and lost the game. Had they won the game, they would have been in the NCAA tournament. Bellarmine was ineligible for the tournament, but the way the rules read, if the conference champion was ineligible, if the conference tournament champion was ineligible, the bid went to the team that won the regular season title, and that was Jacksonville State, who's no longer in the league. But you remember that? So, yes. So they lost. They made the championship game. I thought that they should have been in. I thought if you make the championship game and the champion can't win, the runner-up team can get in, but that's not the way they did it. So Bellarmine beat them. Bellarmine was ineligible. They weren't in the league long enough at that point. So Jacksonville State, who's no longer in the league, they won the regular season by a game over JU. Therefore, they went, so JU did not make the tournament. Last year, they were in that 9-10 game, then one of those play-in games, and they went on an incredible run behind Rob McCray, who was magnificent, played Stetson in the championship game at Stetson, and frankly, I thought outplayed them for most of the game. Stetson hit 2 bomb threes. I mean, long threes. Same guy hit them both. And that beat JU at the end and kept JU out of the NCAA tournament. Stetson went. So JU has been to the finals 2 of the last 3 years. Can this be the year they get over the hump?
I think it's going to be difficult, but certainly they can do it because they play the kind of basketball that translates to tournament play and winning multiple games in such a short window. They're tough. They rebound. They play good defense. And JU's got a little bit more of an element from the perimeter this year that's been really healthy to see. So they're not a team that, is only going to hit 2 or 3 3-pointers in a game. And in some instances, it's been a while since they've gotten to double digits. They were pretty hot there for a while.
5
3
games
weeks
in a row,
ago.
yeah.
They were pretty hot from 3. They've cooled off a little bit there. But they have the kind of toughness, the kind of mentality that translates well. That's what's going to be difficult for UNF, because when you rely solely on hitting the 3, and you've got to do that. In their case now, 4 games they'd have to win.
Yeah.
And however many, I guess, a 7-day stretch.
Right.
With a lot of that being on the road, that's tough because are you going to be able to do that night in and night out in that kind of environment? The biggest thing for UNF, and we'll talk about it when we break down, their loss last night. I mean, they are consistently allowing teams to shoot over 52% from the field.
They've not played good defense, yes.
Yeah, consistently.
Right, and a lot of that is because they're not very good in the interior, and teams that get a lot of inside shots, inside baskets, inside layups and dunks are going to shoot a high percentage. So we'll see what happens. One other thing, UNF's got a tougher hill to climb. Both of them have a hill to climb, but they're in opposite brackets. That's what's kind of nice.
Oh.
Rumble 3?
Are you speaking
I'm thinking Rumble 3. How good would Rumble 3 be for the championship of the Atlantic Sun? They're in opposite brackets. Who knows what will happen? We'll take a break. When we come back, Hayes has headlines. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Play-by-play just makes everyday life better.
I did not see this one coming.
Get the most play-by-play on 1010XL, Jacksonville's play-by-play sports radio.
Lauren Brooks here. At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. As your hometown Mazda dealer, their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new vehicle purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Package. Visit them online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today to learn more and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Don't miss the Players' Championship, March 11th through 16th at TPC Sawgrass. This can't-miss event features a variety of activities for every fan to enjoy, from delicious bites to the Sawgrass Splash. There are endless fan enhancements that will make for a memorable experience. Plus, watch the top PGA Tour players, including back-to-back champion Scottie Scheffler, take on the iconic stadium course featuring the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Staying alive one night of the Bee Gees, a tribute like you've never seen before. Experience the songs and sights of a full Bee Gees playlist performed live March 6th at Jack Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets at fscjartistseries.org.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
We could call them helmets and cleats, but they don't wear cleats.
Those shoes are hot.
Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
You think you could join us?
This is head coach Matthew Driscoll from the UNF men's basketball team. When our players suffer an orthopedic injury, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist gets our players back on the court pain-free.
We appreciate the endorsements from our high school and college coaches. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Underwood has completed 75 years in business, and now you are starting your next 75 years. If you were going to simplify things, what is the single most important thing in Underwood's history, and what will be the most important thing in your future?
Frank, that's simple. Our honesty and integrity. You know, our founder, H.F. Underwood's favorite saying was, know the truth and tell the truth. That's why we're the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in Florida. Because we know you have to have the knowledge about gemstones before you can tell the truth about them. That's why we continue to educate our staff through the Gemological Institute of America and the American Gem Society. In fact, today, Underwood's has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff of professionals east of the Mississippi River. So come by and see why we're looking forward to the next 75 years and let one of our experts assist you.
That's at Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
Hackman Urology offers the most advanced options for improving men's health and vitality. Their board-certified urologists treat all prostate disease and sexual health issues. Call their new location at World Golf Village or visit AckermanUrology.com.
Yo, 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 it's your boy E to the T here, and I know that getting into an accident is stressful, but getting the proper care doesn't have to be. That's why I recommend McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center. Even if you're at fault, your insurance covers you. And remember, you have the right to choose your own doctor. Even a minor accident can cause whiplash for years if it goes untreated. So don't wait. Call the auto accident experts at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation. Your recovery starts today.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We are at Dua. Come see us on Bay Meadows Road, Dua Lounge. Look for the In God We Trust. That is a great landmark. It will take you right here. And, of course, the 1010XL van is out front as well. Come see us. We've got gift cards to give away. And thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Really appreciate them sponsoring Headlines for us. Frank, let's start with the Jaguars. Weekend review. How'd you think it went for the Jaguars at the Combine?
I thought it went fantastic. I really appreciate all three of the triumvirate coming on with us. Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Boselli. I thought they were well received there. The one question people ask, boy, they sure are young. Well, who cares? I think they'll be good at their job. I think they'll do a good job. There was an energy that was palpable and remains that way. And I think not just homers like me, I think people really sensed that, Hayes. I thought it, in terms of what we saw, this isn't players working out. It's the brass of the Jaguars meeting the NFL media world. I think that could not have gone any better. I truly believe that.
Let's get to around the NFL. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, he is officially back. Says he's locked in. He's not going to go out. like he did with the big blowout Super Bowl loss to the Eagles.
Yeah, I didn't think he was getting out of it. I think he probably enjoyed a few headlines about what he's going to do, but I thought he would be back. I told you before, Travis Kelce, what is he, 36? Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce at 36 is not as good as Travis Kelce at 29, but he sure as heck is good at 36 as an awful lot of the tight ends in the National Football League. He's still a very good player, and I'm glad he's going to keep playing.
Sticking with Kansas City, the Chiefs are using the franchise tag on right guard Trey Smith. That's bad news for the Jaguars. He was a guy that we thought might be high on their list.
Yeah, and I think the Jags have to address that position. I think the Jags have to get an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman, out of free agency. I had a hunch he wasn't getting out of there, though. The Chiefs are pretty good at not letting the good ones get away.
Let's get it to Abdul Carter. He had a foot fracture, but it's not really a fracture. It was very kind of hard to explain. Yeah. I guess it depends on which doctor is evaluating him. But his camp says this is not an injury that's going to require surgery. Right. Even if it did, it's only about 8 weeks. He's not going to work out at the combine. No plans for surgery. Do you think this will affect Abdul Carter's stock at all?
I don't. I think he's he's going first overall. I think the only thing that could keep him from going first overall is if someone had to have Cam Ward. Quarterbacks are the only thing that can change mocks. No, I don't think it affects him at all. I think he's the best. It might be the best player in the draft. I think he's going to go very high.
Travis Hunter spoke to reporters today at the NFL Combine. He says he is committed to playing both ways 100% of the time. How would you handle that? Is that something that would excite you as a GM, or something that would kind of maybe bother you a little bit?
Neither. I think he's a really good cornerback. I mean, I think he might be Deion Sanders, and I think that's what he's going to play. Yeah, I think if anything, here's why it might excite me. Whether I ever use him on offense or not, I like that my coach has at his disposal the possibility that I might. So, but make no mistake about this. He's a defense. He can say all he wants. It's not up to him if he plays offense and defense. It's up to the team that drafts him. He's going to be a cornerback who might, in my opinion, play offense 5 or 6 plays a game in gimmicky situations. Now, I could be wrong. Someone could say you're playing both ways, but in the grueling NFL, I can't imagine that.
If he truly in his heart wants to try it, I think if you're a team drafting him, you have to sort of allow him to try it, because you don't want to start the relationship off on a bad note. I'm fascinated to see if he can do it. You know, we've talked about it in baseball, the phenom that is Shohei Ohtani and what he's been able to accomplish. So I don't think he's going to be here anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a Jaguars issue. But I'm fascinated to see if Travis Hunter will be able to play both ways in the NFL.
I certainly think if trying it means a handful of offensive plays, yes.
But he never wants to leave the field, is what he said today.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no way he's going to be a starter on both sides of the ball. You'll never convince me of that.
Yeah, it'd be unbelievable if he is able to do that. Michigan cornerback Will Johnson said today he will not be working out at the scouting combine. Coming off a shaky final year with the Wolverines, is that a mistake in your opinion?
I think the biggest concern, you said earlier it was, and I get your point. So yes, but I don't think he's going to run fast. He's a big guy. He's a 6'2", 203, 205-pound corner, and he's a big physical corner. I think he's concerned he's not going to run fast, and he's going to do everything he can in his pro day to make that 40 number go as low as he can. And I think there's some controllables there, how it's clocked, how it's timed, the track he runs on, that I don't think he feels like he can control here. I think him not working out is all about the running.
The NFL has set the salary cap for next season at $279.2 million, an increase of $23.4 million from last year. Frank, in 1994, the NFL salary cap was $34.6 million.
How about that? How about that change in 30 years or whatever it is? Look, that helps teams. That helps teams. Even though owners are having to pay more than they thought, it helps teams because there's that one guy that might be why Christian Kirk's on the team, Evan Ingram's on the team, and you know my position on that. I think they both absolutely should be on the team. You might keep one more guy, Hayes, that ordinarily you couldn't have if it had come in about where you thought it was. It's higher than anybody expected.
The NFL will use measuring technology in 2025. The officials will be instantly alerted if a first down has been made. The chain crew will remain as a backup, but the NFL now embracing that technology.
Yeah, there's still some things I don't understand about that. They never apparently the Hawkeye technology that they're using will never come into play except when the first down's in question. So I'm still confused why we don't use it to do all the spots. And I think we're going to get there. I think this is just the first step of where we're headed. But it is amazing it took this long to get to it. Tennis has been doing it for how long?
30 years.
It's amazing it took the NFL this long to do it.
Without a doubt. Let's get into college basketball. JU beat Stetson 79-72 in the regular season finale to complete ASUN play with a impressive 12-6 record. The Dolphins were led by Kendall Munson, 17 points. JU won the rebounding battle 40-26. The Dolphins finished fourth in conference and will host Eastern Kentucky in Monday's quarterfinal.
And they've done that without Steph Payne, who's their best rebounder and best rim protector, so that's a good win for them. 2 good wins to end the season. I think JU's got a chance. Rob McCray, I still think, is one of the best 2 or 3 players in the league, and he might be the best player in the league in terms of it's time to take over a game. And if he's that guy, I think JU's got a chance to be very good in that tournament.
UNF lost to Eastern Kentucky 86-81 last night. The Ospreys once again allowed a 52.3% shooting night. UNF finished conference play with an 8-10 record. The Ospreys will play Austin Peay at North Alabama. The winner of that game plays North Alabama on Monday.
Yeah, the play-in game is a 7-8 game, and if UNF wins that game, then they got a tall task to play on the road. But again, JU came through that same bracket last year, had to win Sunday in a play-in game, and had to turn around and beat one of the higher seeds one night, not 1 week, not 2 nights, one night later, and they did it. It can be done, and if UNF starts making those shots, look out.
Our boy Rick Pitino has done it again. Number 7 St. John's beats Butler 76-70 to clinch a share of its first Big East title in 33 years. Pitino became the first coach ever in D1 history to lead 5 schools to a conference championship.
How about that?
And that doesn't include Providence, who he took to the Final Four with Billy Donovan.
But never won the title. But never won the Big East title. That's an amazing. I did not know that. 5 schools.
5 schools.
Wow, it's pretty amazing stuff. He's a great coach. And unlike you, I am right. You and I are in lockstep on this one. If Florida's eliminated, which I hope doesn't happen, but whenever they do get eliminated, and St. John's is not, St. John's is a team I'll root for. And by the way, I don't think we're alone there. Yeah. I think there's a nostalgia to this that people are excited about.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're going to be the darling of the tournament, particularly if they get hot and go on a run. We are here at Dua Lounge, so as we get you to our musical note of the day,
yes,
we are going to take full advantage of being at Dua Lounge. We are playing Dua Lipa. Frank, the 29-year-old, has 64.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify. She is sensational. This is Levitating.
Are you telling me you're playing Dua Lipa at Dua?
It's bold.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Done on Headlines as always. We are at Dua here on Bay Meadows Road. We'll be back to wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Major League Baseball spring training continuing in Florida and Arizona. The New York Yankees, the betting favorite to recapture the American League pennant. After winning it last year, the Yankees are plus 275 to represent the league in this year's World Series. The Baltimore Orioles, also in the AL East, are plus 550. The Houston Astros plus 600. And the Boston Red Sox, who acquired Alex Bregman this offseason, are plus 1,000. Over in the National League, the Dodgers are the betting favorite to once again win the NL. They are plus 160. The Atlanta Braves Braves are plus 550, Phillies plus 700. The Dodgers are the betting favorite to win the World Series at plus 275. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Duck Rooter is the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, and we want to help you protect your septic system. Think about this. What would happen to your car if you never changed the oil? Septic systems are no different and should be pumped at least every 3 years. Lack of maintenance is the #1 reason for septic system failure. Call Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services today to schedule your pumping.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Hey, John, have you heard about the incredible offers at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got rates as low as 3.9% for 36 and 48 months on the stunning 2024 Escalade.
That's right. Experience luxury like never before. Whether it's the exquisite interior or the advanced technology, every drive feels like a royal experience.
Visit Randy Marion Cadillac today on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
And don't forget, Randy Marion is the king of price. Drive and indulge in luxury at Randy Marion Cadillac.
Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee with Resistol and approved credit.
Call the deck guys if you want a brand new deck, pavers or more. Call 904-813-2474.
TheDeckGuysJacks.com.
This is Daytona, the awe-inspiring spectacle of Supercross, and the most challenging course to witness the air-catching, adrenaline-pumping, heart-pounding action unlike any other race in Florida. Daytona Supercross. The biggest names battle it out under the lights at the World Center of Racing. Don't miss it. The gate drops Saturday, March 1st. Secure your tickets and trackside access today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Gator! 3D Digital has you covered for any of your business's digital marketing needs. From producing award-winning videos to getting those digital ads to follow your customers around the internet, our team has your back. Visit 3ddigital.com or give us a call at 904-712-4004 to schedule a free consultation today. 904-712-4004.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Need a fast casual option that's healthy, fresh, and delicious? Choose the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill. Gyros, salads, hummus, and more made completely fresh right as you order. Off 210 and St. John's Parkway. The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
Hey, hit
in here or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock?
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I'm only going to say this one time. All of you have the weekend. Think about whether or not you want to be on this team or not. Under the following condition. What I say when it comes to this basketball team is the law. Absolutely and without discussion.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Our final comment from Norman Dale, a.k.a. Gene Hackman, the great actor, dead at the age of 95, we have learned. God, I love that movie, and God, I love hearing all those comments. No question. Where have we been on the course of the program today? Well, we started the first hour of the show wrapping up our trip to the Combine. We talked about the Boselli interview as well as the Liam Cohen and James Gladstone interviews. Kind of look back at those. Mia joined us from Indianapolis one last time early in the program. We certainly talked about that as well, and we talked about a lot of things, who's working out, who's not, some final tidbits from our trip to Indianapolis. We also talked college basketball. The Gators, will they bounce back against Texas A&M? I believe that they will. And, of course, JU and UNF both playing in the Atlantic Sun Tournament. JU hosts on Monday night. UNF's got to play a play-in game on Sunday, and if they win it, then they play North Alabama on the road on Monday night as well. So they've got to go back-to-back. We'll see if that winds up happening. We also talked about other teams in the world of college basketball. That is where we've been on the course of the show tonight. John Gruden's going back in the Bucks Hall of Fame. Did you see that?
I did.
I'm glad.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I think it was Adam Schefter that kind of gave some details of the report. So I guess at Monty Kiffin's funeral, Lane Kiffin talked about how his dad believed in second chances, and that really touched the Glazers, the owners of the Bucks, and they invited John Gruden to come sit with them at a game in the owners' box, and it went well. And I mean, I think it's a good thing for John Gruden to get that recognition. I mean, you can't tell the history of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without John Gruden.
And part of that is, he lives in Tampa. So it's a home. I mean, he's still a big part of the Tampa fabric. He still has this. He has an office. He works for Barstool Sports now. Makes a bunch of money working for Barstool, but he has this big office, studio, incredible setup, and he still has all these coaches come and hang out and talk ball. He actually has coaches' staff meetings. He just doesn't have a job. But they do that all the time, and they all get together. Ron Zook, Rick Venturi, all these coaches that have been with him before, Jim Haslett, all these guys that have been on his staff, they show up, and sometimes it's 4 and 5 in the morning, and they watch tape and talk ball. And so he's a coach with that. He's a coach with a staff but no team, which is kind of so. But it all goes on in Tampa, and so I'm glad I'm glad. I'm glad, and I will tell you, Gruden's not old. How old's Gruden? He's
56.
Yeah, maybe late 50s, early 60s, maybe, right? And he's the guy.
61.
61. And he's the guy that I think wants another chance. And it would not shock me if he landed a job. I mean, Mac Brown went back to North Carolina in his 70s. Bill Belichick just went to North Carolina in his 70s. Pete Carroll just got the Seattle job in his 70s. the Vegas job in his 70s. As the forgiveness, this move is kind of the way the Bucs are saying, we forgive, let's move on. You did a lot of good things here. And it's almost a reaching out to the football world to follow us in this forgiveness of John Gruden.
Right.
And I think as it happens, of all the coaches that are getting, he's a good coach.
Without a doubt.
Would not be surprised if John Gruden, at only 61 years old, winds up back in. And I think he could go either way. I think he's most known as an NFL coach. But I do know over the many, many years, including Tennessee, we heard, remember he was being really considered for the Tennessee job? I think he's kicked the tires on college jobs too. And so I'll bet you see John Gruden on a sideline again before it's all over.
I would think so as well. And that line between college and NFL is never been closer in terms of how the two entities are basically the same thing now in terms of player compensation. So in front offices and things like that. So, yeah, either way I think would be a good fit for John Gruden. And, yeah, I do think he's got a good chance to be back on a sideline. I mean, look, we know 8 NFL coaches are probably going to get fired in a year. I mean, that's just the nature of the league. So, that's obviously a great opportunity. And you have to think schools around college football would certainly be interested in talking to him if they had a vacancy.
Yeah, so it'll be – I would imagine that this is a very good first step that gets John Gruden back on the sideline somewhere. So we'll see if that winds up happening. So it'll be interesting to see if it does. I'm tired. Back from a fun trip in Indy, but it's going to be the weekend's right back at it.
Yeah,
guys working out all weekend long. The college basketball is coming to a crescendo. Certainly, it starts with the ASUN tournament next week. And I thought about this today. You and I talked about it at one of those airports today. We were at 3 airports today, but at one of the airports we got talking about it. We're going to blink and free agency's here.
Without a doubt.
I mean, legal tampering is this Thursday. Legal tampering is a week from Monday. So the legal tampering is just like
it's here.
10 days.
Yeah, I mean
11 days.
That was what we kept saying. When the Jaguars were going through the process, particularly the general manager process, the clock was ticking.
Yeah,
and they've made a hire, and I think they'll be fine now in terms of forming a plan, but yeah, I mean, we're not that far away from having new Jaguars, which is always exciting. When I don't think they're going to sign, I don't think you'll see blockbusters, but I think they'll sign 3 or 4 B-level guys.
Yeah. And maybe one A-level.
Maybe.
That's typically what teams do.
Yeah. And again, a lot of that depends on what they do with Christian Kirk. If they do decide to release him, which I hope they don't, but if they do decide to release him, then, that's extra money. And they were already in good shape. They were already about average in terms of cap space. And again, we know with ownership, they will spend. So I think in keeping with the aggressive mindset, you absolutely could be right. They may really want to make a big statement in free agency with at least one addition, and then fill in the gaps with maybe 2 or 3 other guys.
So, and again, the way today's NFL works is the free agency always officially starts at 4:00 on a Wednesday, but the deals are made and announced, not announced by the team, but broken, I should say. The deals are made and word gets out that they are made on the Monday. So by the time we do our Monday show that week, is that the I think it's the players. So
That's right.
So the fine, and we'll be at the Haight, I think, on that Monday.
Yeah, what a week.
Yeah, by the time,
because you also have NCAA tournament, or they're getting close. I guess it'll be SEC tournament. Yeah.
But I mean, you think about it. That Monday, by the time we go on the air from the Haight that day out at Sawgrass, we will know who the prominent free agent signings around the league are, possibly here. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I asked you one position where you think the Jaguars, the best chances they sign an A-list free agent, what would it be?
I'd probably say if it's going to be A-list, maybe safety now.
Safety.
Because it's hard now with Trey Smith being off the market. I don't know.
That's where I would go.
Yeah, I think they'll sign a guard.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would consider it to be a, quote, A-list.
Yeah, and that's you're basing it more on what's out there, not on what they need. And got it. Interesting point. It'll be interesting to see, but I do believe that's coming up. Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Service by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
Rick, what one position, if the Jags were going to sign one A-list free agent, what one position would it be, in your opinion?
For me, it would have been right guard.
Yeah,
and it would have been Trey Smith at the age of 25. He's gone. He would have been my guy. Now, I kind of rank it wide receiver, right guard, but I think they can do something with wide receiver either in the trade or maybe a little bit later on throughout free agency or maybe even second round on in the NFL draft. But in my opinion, the first position that needs to be addressed immediately is that right guard.
Yeah, I think they're going to sign. An offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman in free agency. I think that'll be. Mm-hmm. There's other positions I think they might, but I think they're going to do that. So we'll see if they want to. All right, what's coming up on your program tonight, Rick?
We got an awful lot going on tonight. We really do. We're going to check in again live from the Combine with Demetrius Harvey, but just a real disappointing Thursday, in my opinion, that more and more are opting out. I mean, we're told that this is a 6th-player draft. Yet all sorts of guys are holding out. And as great as the Combine is, and I know you guys had a wonderful 3 days there, and there's so much information and rumor being kicked around, it almost feels like the actual Combine is turning into the Pro Bowl. I mean, what's this thing going to be like in 5 years with all of these guys no longer wanting to really work out? I've always looked at it as another opportunity to be impressive, another opportunity to showcase what you're all about as far as the interview and the workout before the pro day, but most of these guys say, we'll do it on campus.
All right, they'll be talking about it tonight when Rick goes into the night. Rick, thanks, buddy. All right, Rick Ballou goes into the night. That happens right now. That'll do it for our program. Thanks for being part of it. Tomorrow we'll be back in studio. Lee Smith, we start previewing that Players Championship now. Lee Smith from the Players, the executive director. He's our golf analyst. He will join us at 4:20 tomorrow. We'll be back in studio. Look forward to talking to you then. We're out of here. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Franz. You have a great night.